What's going on, guys? Real Trader Joe here, bringing you our first live portfolio overview. And in this episode, Coinbase totally crushes us. That is the main theme of this overview here. We are not lying. We are down $2,759. Bernie Madoff and Jordan Belfort did not steal that from us. That is totally live value being lost. NASDAQ, NQ, and the S&Ps, the Dow, all end of the day pretty much unchanged, which is good for us. We're clocking in at about 98 theta and negative 58 beta weighted deltas. Most of that here is going to be Coinbase, as you can see, short 23 beta weighted deltas, and actually XOP pretty much bringing up the same amount, if not more, negative 26 beta weighted deltas. But we'll get to Coinbase here in just a minute because it's kind of a special beast and it's its own world, and the rest of the portfolio is pretty straightforward. Palantir, looking at, we're just under 21 days to expiration, but as you can see, we're just now starting to get profitable on the position with earnings in 13 days. I've got no problem holding on to this for another day or two or three until that gamma risk at 15 days really starts to kick in and kind of bite a little bit. We also have 73 IVRs, so I'm more than happy to kind of roll this out and see what happens through earnings. Not really too concerned about this position. We can always close it later, but I'm going to let it ride for another couple days, see if we can milk out some more profit, just because I've been holding this one for a while, and 16 bucks doesn't seem like that much of a risk reward for the amount of time we've had this position open. Micron is now a straddle. It was a strangle, but we've since made adjustments. I tend to, I'm tending to adjust a little bit more frequently, controlling the amount of credits that I get and reducing my delta risk. I've become a lot more comfortable with that since we got to Coinbase, but all is not well in Wonka land, as you can see with the Coinbase positioned up there. Micron, though, not doing too bad. I mean, we're pretty much right where we want to be with the short straddle here at 65. Micron right about 65.48. So we're just going to let that sit tight. We got some time till earnings. I don't think they've declared yet, but we're bringing in about 8 theta a day, so we'll see. One thing that I really like to do with short straddles, and you'll see this on my Oracle adjustments here in a second, is that I like to roll the straddle out in time and then also just kind of move the strikes as I roll the straddle out in time to reduce my deltas. I've done that a lot in the past with stocks like Schwab, and actually we'll just go ahead and move right into the Oracle position, and I'll show you that here. So I have the 115 straddle set for 25 days to expiration, and we're just about profitable on this order chain. But if we go to the order chain, I'll actually show you guys kind of what a crazy journey this has been. So we put on a short put at about 6:15, so about a month ago, 6:15. We put a short put on, and you might be thinking it's crazy to put a short put on here, but we kind of didn't diversify the AI rally and kind of got crushed for it. So I was thinking, well, if this AI rally continues, I want a short put to diversify because I was really massively short AI and AMD at the time, for that matter. So I wanted some diversity in Oracle. Obviously, the AI craze kind of faded and we took some losses, but I was totally cool with that because my AMD and AI positions recovered. This AMD position is a new position and it's unrelated. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so I had the 120 put, turned it into the 120, 124 strangle, rolled that out in time, and eventually we settled on the 117 straddle, which we also rolled. We bought back the 120, turned this into a 120 straddle from the 120, 124 strangle, and then rolled that 120 straddle out about another month to the 117. And we've been playing around with that. We actually rolled that 117 into the 115, and we may now roll the 115 back up to the 118 or 119 if we just go to the roll strikes here and we roll them up, go to the table. I could totally see a world where we just go straight to the 118 before earnings. We're going to pick up some credits. When the market opens, we'll probably get a more accurate quote, but I don't imagine that it's going to be too much of a headache to try to manage this position either, just because we're so close to even, and I can wait a few more days. We'll probably monitor this one on Friday and see where we're at, but I'm feeling good about Oracle overall, given that we're sitting on $6.30 collected on the order chain. That's a lot of room, and we'll just kind of wait and see what happens, but more than happy to roll this for a credit before the 48 days to earnings. I mean, we could probably roll this. I don't know. Yeah, 48. We might go with the 39 weekly. Try to roll this up. Yeah, 66 cents in credit for doing so. Doesn't seem like a bad deal at all. You can kind of see at this point we're pretty much covering the expected move of the stock before earnings. Of course, IV bound to increase. So we'll just kind of wait and see what happens. Marvel doing great. Standard Strangle, pretty much right in the middle of where we want to be. Nothing to write home about there. XOP, this one's I'm feeling a little tender. This is starting to hit a little bit harder than I'd like it to. 44 negative deltas, and that's one tough cookie. I mean, we're sitting on $2 in the money, $4 collected, so I've kind of just been gradually rolling this up. You started with the 114, 136, and I've just been gradually shrinking that down from 114, 136 to now 114, 122, 122, 129, so that's where we're at now. 129, 136, and we started with 114, so we've rolled that 114 all the way up to 129, sitting on about $4, hoping to get this guy to come back, but because it's an index, it's one of the great advantages of an index, so we can just roll this guy out. I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe here in a few days we'll do something like this, and you know, with the reversion in price, I don't see something like this being unreasonable. If it ends up at around 135, we can kind of roll out and up, sacrifice some theta, grab some delta, and all is right with the world. AMD, I've had a long and checkered past with AMD. AMD's kind of been like that, you know, that fanboy that just kind of smiles at you a little too hard, and you end up kind of distancing yourself from. That's like the cousin you kind of don't want to see at family reunions. Yeah, that's kind of this stock for me right now. We've been had a long history. This is just the last 30 days. The last 60 days were even more tumultuous than that. We've done a ton of adjustments, but right now we just have on your standard strangle. Didn't start that way. We started with the 105, turned the 105 into the 125 because of the IV spike this has been going through. IV's just been going up and up and up, and I was like, yeah, we can't afford to not take both sides of the market here just because of how rich the IVR is becoming. We do have earnings here in a bit. You know, usually I try to if I can speak English tonight, I try to let trades go before the earnings date, but I'm actually totally comfortable rolling this out. You know, we're going to get another $3 at the September monthly expiration. Probably is going to increase some more as IVR continues to rise. I don't see it unreasonable to do something like that, where we're just selling the 100, 125, may even kick that 125 out to 130, give ourselves $30 of room here. That's looking real nice and real appealing. But of course, you know, we can sit on this a little while longer. We've got 7 days to earnings. I don't see a problem holding this to about 18 days to expiration before we make a decision. So pretty much standing by on just about every position we have, and making to look a lot of adjustments on Friday. So now we get to the big daddy of the positional screen here, Coinbase. Yeah, this has been some serious pain. I mean, it's just been absolute napalm on the portfolio, man. We had so much going for us, and you know, sometimes you're gonna get ran. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're just gonna get hammer of justice and you know, smacked to death. For all my World of Warcraft friends out there who hate fighting paladins like me, because they're just such a broken class. And this stock has been on a righteous tear. Started at about $51 and just pretty much shot straight up. Put us in a world of pain. In fact, I think on the order chain we actually established, first of all, we had a calendar diagonal spread that just like didn't work out. I mean, totally bombed this diagonal spread. But we also started a strategy at around, when did we put the strangle on? So we did a bunch of stuff with the diagonal spread, don't worry about that. But we put a strangle on at June 22nd. So June 22nd is like the day before all this nonsense started to happen. I mean, it's pretty much right here, and then Coinbase just shoots straight up. So that put us in a ton of trouble. We start making adjustments. We start rolling out in time and rolling the untested side. But we eventually end up actually kicking the call side, the 66 strike call for the July 21st expiration ends up all the way in December 15th and is now the 70 call. And because we had that diagonal spread taken 615 in debits, we actually end up only $4.85 collected. Not looking good on a stock that's $97. You know, $4.85 is pretty pitiful for all the rolls we've done and how far we've kicked this guy out. On the plus side, we also sold puts, and just because of the way the order chain is currently structured, these puts are kind of in a different category just because there's so much going on here, but I'll try to break it all down. So at some point we decided that the rallying was too much and we needed puts to kind of put the brakes on this thing. So we sold a 59 and we've just been rolling that guy up. That's all this is. The 59 going to the 65, 75, 80, 87, and now eventually ending up at the 97 strike. So the end result of all of this is a really crazy inverted strangle for the 70 call way out in December and the 97 strike put. Coinbase obviously just about on that 97 strike. So you can see, you know, for those of you who have done inverted strangles, the max theoretical profit is right between the short strikes, just like you'd expect. But there's a big twist here that I'm actually really excited to share, and that's the difference in expirations between these two components. So if you look, our 97 put expires in 11 days, right? Usually it's a big no-no as tasty traders to kind of hold on to stuff until expiration, but here's the rub, guys. We're going to burn this guy to the ground. You know, we're going to do to this short put what Caesar did to the Library of Alexandria. We're going to let this guy burn, you know? And the reason we're going to let this guy burn is because we are getting so many benefits from the short expiration cycle. We have 41 delta for this basically at the money put. And we also have 28 theta. I mean, he's pulling the whole sled. You know, this leap option only giving us about 4 theta. And we have 33 theta total. So from our short option on the put side that it's going to expire in 11 days, we are cutting our deltas in half, essentially. And we're receiving a huge chunk of theta. We are basically setting up Coinbase for maximum punishment if it rallies. If it rallies, this 533, well, actually the 635 that it's marking for right now is just going to evaporate. It's going to vanish out of thin air. And that is exactly what we want. We want those credits. We want to make sure that if Coinbase rallies, we are going to have some money in our pockets to work with as we continue to negotiate this short call here, which is recovering, but again, aloe vera on sunburn in terms of the overall P&L on this position. So what does that mean for us here in the next coming days? Well, actually, I want to show you something else. Because of the gamma risk of this position, as we move through time, we're going to start to see the theoretical max profit zone shift towards the short put. You'll just watch the apex of the curve here, and you'll see it's actually moving closer to the strike price of our 97 strike short put, and you can actually see this reflected in the deltas themselves. We are at about 0 delta at 85, but as we move through time, closer to expiration, our 0 delta actually gets closer, right? If we go out a few days in time to the 31st and we look at 85, and then we're actually long 10 deltas. Our 0 delta has moved to 89, and as we get closer to expiration, our 0 delta really is just right at the right around $97. Yep, actually we're short then, but yeah, 96.75. That's our 1 delta mark. So what's happening here is, as that short put gets closer to expiration, we are taking out more and more of that extrinsic value, and the gamma on that guy is going to get stronger. So we're going to hit our 100 shares a lot quicker, and it's going to deteriorate a lot of that short delta as the stock moves down, meaning that it's not going to take as much of a down move to get us toward our max profit. For all of those reasons, the gimme gotcha exchange, as Dr. Jim Schultz likes to say, is that our max profits deteriorate if we get a massive down move in coin, but the gimmies for that are that we're getting a ton of delta and a ton of theta protection in the event that this coin rally continues, which I think is a worthwhile exchange, particularly because we can decide to kick this 97 put out at any juncture in time if we want to. We can just say, all right, well, guess what? We're going to roll this out to 39 days, and maybe, coin's gone down to 96 or something like that, so we can just start rolling this guy back and eventually kind of work our way up to a uninverted strangle. I know that was a long rant, a lot going on there. The history of this position has been absolutely crazy, so this has been an absolutely wild ride. For context, by the way, this is by far and away like being on the receiving end of Mike Tyson financially. I mean, it's the biggest loser that I've had to date, and I'm excited to negotiate this going forward. It's been a real learning experience for me, and I'm excited to see how this plays out. My hope is that Coinbase stays right around where it is. The bulls and the bears kind of exhaust each other. We can burn this short put to the ground and then probably reestablish another one just before earnings. I'm kind of eyeing the 53 days to expiration because that's going to be right around 45 days by the time earnings rolls around, and I'd be more than happy to get in something like the 80 put or 75 put, get this inverted strangle really close to being almost a straddle, and then kind of ride it out, and we'll see what happens there. But that's my rough game plan. I have no intention of abandoning this position yet. I've shed my tears. I've had my moment of existential crisis, and now the stock gods will do whatever they're going to do. Whew, okay, so that's Coinbase. And by the way, you can see that 9,000 in capital reduction. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that a little bit, having to close down some stuff, trying to make some sacrifices, slim down, but today was a good day all across the board, I think. That's all I got. That is the portfolio overview in a nutshell. I know that was pretty fast. I'm pretty anxious to get to bed here. I recorded this earlier, but the audio wasn't so great, so do let me know if you have any questions. Post comments down. DM me on YouTube. I'll put my Twitter in the description, and then you can always email me. I will respond to emails, but that is all, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and